Okay, so if you have finished the practice work, you'll have your cloud pictures you've researched, you'll have your tree pictures, you've got your cloud practice, and you've got your tree practice, and then you'll be ready to start your final piece of work. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw out the 4 mountains, and don't do the trees first of all, simply because if you're going to paint the mountains, then you're probably going to paint over the trees, so it doesn't make sense to draw them out initially. What I would suggest you do is you leave about 1/3 of the paper for sky, and then you put your 4 mountains below. So I'm going to do my first mountain, which is going to be quite hilly, but not very sort of peak-like, because then it'll be difficult to paint around it. Then I'm going to do some more undulating hills in the foreground. I think I'll put another one there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and let's put one in the foreground there. So going back to our technique of painting the clouds, first thing to do is to add quite a bit of water, making sure our water does not go over the furthest mountain. Probably used about 5 or 6 of these big size 12 brushfuls of water. So this is where we said we are just going to use paint, no water to lighten the color, just we're going to use black with a little bit of water. So working out with quite a small selection of paint to start off with. So I've done my practice. Going to put some clouds there. So remember, it's a case of building up the colour. You can also work a little bit darker, not too dark. So if I add a bit darker paint here, and then to lift up colour and to make a more cloud-like effect, if you remember before, we used bits of tissue paper to create that effect. Those people who are quite good at doing the cloud shapes will actually find they are able to work quite quickly, because often less paint is going to create more effective representation of the clouds. Again, our dabbing movements is going to be more appropriate to create those clouds. Now, it might be the case that later on we look at the clouds, the paint because watercolour always does, dries lighter, and we decide we want to work back into it. But for now, I'm relatively happy with that. It's got a cloud-like appearance. The next thing to do is to do the hills.